So picture this. You're winding down for the night, scrolling through your phone, half paying attention, half ready to knock out. Everything is calm, everything is quiet, and then, boom, your timeline explodes. Notifications start popping up like fireworks. People are whispering, screaming, and flat out panicking over one headline that refuses to go away. Porsha Williams arrested. Not speculation, not rumored, not somebody's bored tweet, straight up bold letters like it came straight from a courthouse press release. And for a moment, everybody froze. Because if there's one thing we know, it's that Porsha does not go viral quietly. When her name trends, it's because something either wild, emotional, messy, or completely unbelievable has happened. But this felt like all four rolled into one. Some people gasped. Others laughed like it was just another Tuesday in the world of housewives chaos. But everyone clicked. Everyone checked. Everyone needed to know if this was real tea or recycled drama being dressed up as breaking news. And the craziest part? The story spread too fast to ignore. It traveled from meme pages to gossip accounts to reaction channels to full-blown blogs in minutes. No mugshot, no court documents, no Bravo response. Just a wildfire of speculation and a whole lot of, wait, what actually happened? But here's where the twist comes in. While the whole internet was losing its mind over Porsha's alleged arrest, Bravo was quietly, aggressively, and almost suspiciously pushing another storyline behind the scenes. Shamea Morton being forced into non-stop filming with zero breaks. Zero. As in, cameras rolling, scenes stocked, travel days squeezed, and production acting like she's a machine, not a human being. So on one side, you've got Porsha being dragged into a rumor storm she didn't start. And on the other, you've got Shamea trying to keep up with Bravo's lightning speed schedule like her whole peach depends on it. And when you put those two things together, it paints a picture that is so chaotic, so unbalanced, so undeniably messy that fans can't help but feel like something bigger is going on. But to understand how we got here, how Porsha became the center of another viral scandal, and how Shamea ended up being pushed harder than ever, we have to rewind the story, because none of this happened out of nowhere. There's history, tension, pressure, loyalty, and a whole lot of behind-the-scenes whispers that the public never gets to see. Let's go back to the beginning. Long before the cameras, the headlines, and the internet meltdowns, Porsha Williams had already lived 10 lifetimes worth of drama. From heartbreaks to friendships to shocking plot twists, she's been through enough ups and downs to fill an entire franchise by herself. And no matter how many times she tried to breathe, the public always wanted one more story, one more reaction, one more moment of her being thrown into something wild. But despite the chaos, she always had someone in her corner, Shamea Morton. Quiet but loyal, soft-spoken but sharp, and there long before Bravo ever demanded she carry storylines. Their bond was real, their support for each other was public, and fans always said the same thing. If Bravo ever gave Shamea real screen time, she and Porsha would take over the whole show. Well, that prediction might have come true, but definitely not the way anyone imagined. For years, Bravo played this little game with Shamea, bringing her in enough to keep viewers curious, but never giving her the real spotlight. She was the friend, the guest, the pop-in, the one they used when they needed transitions or a neutral face. Never messy enough to be a villain, never privileged enough to be a full-time star. It was frustrating to watch. It was confusing. And it was obvious that Shamea wanted more. And maybe Bravo finally noticed, because when the show hit that something needs to change or we're losing this audience phase, they suddenly went knocking on her door like she was the missing ingredient, and maybe she was. But here's the thing nobody talks about. When a network decides you're suddenly essential, they don't ease you in. They throw you into the fire. They expect you to show up, show out, and survive the heat, no matter what's going on in your real life. So the moment Shamea said yes, the moment she agreed to really show her life, the moment Bravo realized she could bring heart, warmth, humor, and a fresh storyline, they didn't give her time to breathe. They didn't give her space to adjust. They didn't even give her a proper break. She became the woman working sun up to sundown, rushing from event to event, flying back and forth, filming in every direction. She was doing confessionals at midnight, showing up to scenes after traveling, juggling family, work, and production like her life was one giant schedule board. And the pressure? It was real. Because Bravo wasn't just filming her. They were testing her, seeing if she could handle full-time cast energy, seeing if she could survive without cracking, seeing if she could carry emotional weight, conflict, and chaos without losing herself in the process. And in the middle of all that, the Porsha arrest rumor hit the internet like a meteor. The timing was too weird to ignore, too convenient, too perfectly placed in the middle of Shamea's busiest filming week. And that's when fans started asking the real question. Was someone trying to distract? To redirect? To shift the storyline away from Bravo's treatment of Shamea and back onto Porsha? Or was the universe just being messy as usual? Because sometimes reality TV drama doesn't happen on camera first, it starts online. The minute the story broke, everything spiraled. People were digging up old mugshots, comparing dates, dragging up ancient drama like it was fresh. Others were making jokes, turning it into memes, creating whole narratives that had nothing to do with the truth. And the more the story spread, the less it made sense. First, it was, Porsha was arrested last night. Then it became, maybe it was this weekend. Then some random page claimed it happened months ago. Then someone else said, actually, this is from 2020. The timeline was shaking. The details were off. And the sources? Random accounts with profile pictures that looked like AI cats. But the public didn't care. Because when it's messy, people run with it. Meanwhile, Bravo was busy pushing Shamea into scenes without a single break. She was filming a birthday event one day, a girls' dinner the next, then being told to hop on a red-eye flight because production needed her in Atlanta immediately. It was non-stop. It was intense. And it was starting to show. Her smile was still there, but tired. Her energy was present, but stretched. Her patience, well, even the most loyal friend has a breaking point. And here's where things really got complicated. Because while the world was screaming about Porsha, fans noticed something subtle but important. Shamea and one cast member had unfollowed each other on Instagram. No shade thrown, no public dragging, just a quiet digital cut that said more than any argument could. And that whisper grew into a rumor. That rumor grew into a theory. And that theory grew into a question. Did all this pressure finally cause cracks in Shamea's relationships too? Because when you're filming tired, filming stressed, filming under pressure, small things feel huge. Short comments feel like insults. And friendships start shaking in ways you don't even recognize until it's too late. So there they were. Porsha dealing with a story she didn't start. Shamea working harder than she ever has in her life. Bravo stirring the pot, whether intentionally or not. And the internet playing detective like it was the Olympics. And that's when the emotional impact started showing. Porsha's silence spoke volumes. She didn't clap back. She didn't post a denial. She didn't add emojis or shade or sarcastic comments. She simply kept living her life. And sometimes silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's power. The kind of power that says, "I don't feed false flames." But silence comes at a cost. Because while she stayed quiet, the public kept building a story around her. A story she didn't write. A story she didn't ask for. A story that could have damaged everything she'd rebuilt for herself if it had gone one step further. And then there was Shamea, trying to hold it together, trying to show up as a friend, trying to meet production's sky-high expectations, trying not to fall apart while everyone expected her to shine. But exhaustion does something to you. It makes you emotional. It makes you react fast. It makes you question everything, your friendships, your decisions, your career path. And somewhere in all the noise, she started losing herself. Not in a dramatic breakdown, but in the small ways, the sighs between takes, the long pauses before scenes, the private moments where she wondered, is this really worth it? Because fame looks glamorous from the outside, but living it when a network is pushing you, the audience is judging you, the internet is dissecting your every move, and your friend is being dragged through a rumor storm? That's another story. And that brings us to the final moment. The part that ties everything together. The part nobody expected. Because this whole situation, this arrest rumor, this filming pressure, this emotional spiral, revealed something deeper than any storyline. It showed how fragile these women actually are beneath the glam. How much weight they carry behind the scenes. How hard they fight to keep their friendships while living in a world that rewards drama over loyalty. How easily the public forgets they're human. And most of all, how quickly a fake headline can turn into a real emotional storm. In the end, Porsha survived the rumor because she refused to fuel it. Shamea survived the pressure because she refused to quit. But the scars? Those stay long after the cameras stop rolling. And if this is the energy the season is starting with, then baby, the real show hasn't even begun yet. Because if Bravo thinks they can force non-stop filming, if the internet thinks it can rewrite Porsha's reality, if friendships are already shifting before the first episode airs, then something big is coming. Something messy. Something emotional. Something nobody is ready for. And when it hits, it won't just change storylines. It'll change relationships. It'll change alliances. It'll change everything. So buckle up. Because if this is just the beginning, the rest of the season is about to be a storm.